Okay, sit yourself onto your left and come into a good cross-leg position. Have a little wriggle about, make sure that you're feeling evenly positioned at the hips. Hold onto your knees and lift up into your chest. Elevate the heart area upwards and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. So that first action of lifting just really, for me, always just lengthens out my neck really nicely. So after sleeping, sometimes because I quite often sleep on my front, so I sleep with the neck one side or the other, and so you get a little bit of stiffness in the neck. So you lift the heart area up to the ceiling and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Just look down at the floor, look at something that doesn't move. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Spend a little time observing your seated position, just adjusting if you feel uneven at the seat bones. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste, press the palms firmly together, lengthen consciously from your armpits into your elbows. Your elbows into the heels of your hands, from the heels of your hands into the fingertips. And with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Just spend a moment just to listen to the breath, focusing on deep inhalations, deep exhalations. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. place the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Just bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom and peacefulness and physical intelligence that we can carry with us into our practice. And then release your head, bring your head back to levelness. Open your eyes, just spend a moment, just assessing the balance of the seat bones. Just observe whether you've dropped in the chest or whether you are still lifting. So hold onto the knees and renew the upward extension of the heart area, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side. And then come back to center, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. And then turn to the left, just drawing yourself across. And then come back to the center. If you've got a belt handy, get the belt and then put it into a small loop, a really small loop like that. And then we're gonna hook the big toes into the loop like that. Can you see? Yeah, I think you can just see. So hook the big toes into the loop. So if you haven't got a belt that kind of tightens up, if you've got a belt that doesn't kind of loop together, then I think it should be all right to do it like that. So put in the, yeah, that should be all right. So you could, in fact, actually that's quite good. Yeah, so you can do it like that, but ideally do it with the loop. So you can just put the belt around the big toes. But ideally have it with the belt in a loop like that. And then I want you to try and hit the heels away from each other, have the hands at the sides of the body, lift up into the chest, and then try and really spread the toes. Now this kind of can feel strong in your inner knees, so don't overdo it if there's tension. But have a look at the way that your feet are spreading. So the idea is to push against the inner belt, push against the belt, and then lengthen out into the little toes. So the more you start to lengthen out into the little toes, the more these outer thighs start to compact in towards the inner thigh. So just see if you can really lengthen the big toes. So it's easy to pull the toes apart, but it's not necessarily easy to lengthen into the little toes. But if you lengthen into the little toes, you'll feel it on the outside edge of your thighs. So just see if you can really lengthen out into the little toes. Spread the fingers, spread the toes even. Pull firmly on the belt. Try and pull the legs apart and lengthen into those little toes. And then relax. Surprisingly hard work actually, isn't it? So it's about getting this little toe to splay away from the big toe, and then you should feel this compactness on the outside edge of on the outsides of the thighs. So you kind of suck the outer thighs in. Just one more time, just maybe see if you can make it a bit tighter on the belt. And then push the feet into the belt. And then lengthen into those little toes. Lengthen into the little toes, lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area upwards. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Really working to lengthen the toes apart. Okay, and then release. So pretty strong on the legs. We're going to do dog down. If you're not doing dog down, then you can stay in dandasana and you can stay with the belt around your toes and keep working the legs in the way that we've just been doing. Or you can do supta konasana if you're not doing dog down. So come down onto your knees. Have your hands as wide apart as the mat, step back. Have your feet as wide apart as the mat and then come up into dog down. Now I want you to stamp the neck of the big toe really firmly into the floor. So the neck of the big toe is where the ball joint meets the big toe. So press the neck of the big toe really firmly down and then splay out the other toes and try and get the little toe side of the foot to stretch as far away from the big toe as you can so that those outer thighs begin to activate. Stamp the neck of the big toe down and spread into the little toes. It's not as easy as it sounds, is it? Activate those legs. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Press in that big toe, the neck of the big toe down into the floor. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, working with distinction in the feet. Activate the kneecaps, the thighs as you normally would, but working with an emphasis on those big toes. Pressing the neck of the big toe down really activates the backs of the thighs, activates the hamstring. Okay, and then step your feet forwards. Come up into a standing position. And then get a couple of blocks for your hands. And then get your belt and then make the loop a little bit bigger. Or you just use the belt as you did before. Have the feet as wide apart as the mat, turning the big toes in. And then hook the feet into the belt and then tighten the belt up. So make it tight. So have the heels hitting outwards so that the heels are in line with the edge of the mat. And then splay out of the toes. Press the big toes, pull the big toes apart as much as you can. Just be mindful of how much that kind of activates the knees and the inner knee. It doesn't always feel brilliant there, so don't overdo it. If you can feel, kind of strong action in that inner knee. But I want you to really work out into that little toe side. Spread the toes. Keep tension on the belt. Keep the legs turning inwards, which feels like a bit of a contradiction to the action of the toes, but yoga is full of contradictions, isn't it? And then try and spread out into the little toe side. Have the hands on the hips, have the legs straight, keep the tension on the belt, lift up into the chest and then hinge at the hips. As you come forwards, keep that tension on the belt and then reach down, find the blocks. So push the feet, the toes into the belt, and then spread those little toes. Stamp the little toes consciously down into the floor. So we usually bring weight into our heels, but today we're just concentrating on the toes. So it doesn't matter if you haven't got your weight in your heels at the moment, but stamp those little toes into the floor so that the outer thighs suck outwards. Then hit the heels back. Project the chin and the chest forwards. Stamp the little toes really consciously down into the floor. Spread in the feet. Spread in the ball joint of the feet. If you can go down lower, then do, but it might feel very different to how it normally feels. Keep the heels hitting outwards. Keep the little toes stamping down into the floor to activate those outer thighs. And then there's a bit of a tube of toothpaste action in the hips. The outer thighs can suck in, then the seat bones and the tailbone can lift. Okay, and then bring your hands into your hips. Bend your knees on the way up if you need to. And then come back into Tadasana. So have the belt small again. Just before we go back to the belt, just stand in Tadasana. So after all that action with the toes in the belt, your big toes should feel, kind of really lively. They should feel alive. We normally stand with the feet hip width, the feet together, but just for the purpose of this action, I want you to step the feet slightly apart with the big toes turning towards each other, and then imagine that you've still got that belt on the big toes, and then can you spread out into the little toes? Tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the legs inwards, tuck the tailbone in, draw the abdomen to the spine, lift up into the chest. So feel how perhaps unusual it feels in your feet to really spread the toe mounds. Keep that little toe side of the foot pressing down into the floor so that those outer thighs suck inwards. Listen to the breath. Pull the toes apart, imagining that you've got that belt around the toes. And then relax for a moment. So if you were pulling tightly enough on that belt, it should have left a bit of a feeling template on the feet. So spread the toes. Have the inner edge of the feet together. Spread the toes. Really spread those toe mounds. So just lengthen into the little toe side. Lift up into the chest. Feel that you have lifted the toes. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, and then raise your arms up. You have to go sideways. Keep spreading the toes, pulling the big toes apart to activate those inner knees, stretching into the little toe side. Sucking the outer thighs in. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, trying to pull the big toes apart. And then release. Just one more time. Go back to the belt, hook the toes in the belt just to refresh that sensation. Have the feet pull in firmly on the belt, and then have the heels a little bit wider apart than the big toes, and then come back up, spreading the toes, spreading the toes. lengthening into the little toe side, stamping the little toes into the floor so that the outer thighs suck in and upwards. It's that same action as anantasana, isn't it? Okay, and then release. So stand in Tadasana with the inner edge of the feet together again. And then I want you to lift one heel, so the toes are still down, and then spread out the toes. And then try and lengthen the heel as far away from the ball joint as you can. And then do the same with the other foot. Spread the toes, and then try and lengthen the heel away from the toes. And then lift up into the chest, spread the toes. So the feet might feel very different. Maybe they feel a bit longer. Might feel a little bit like clown's feet. Turn the fronts of the legs inwards. Stamp the big toes into the floor. Try and pull them apart, like you got the belt around them, and then lengthen into the little toes. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step or jump the feet apart. Turn your left toes in, and then stamp the neck of the big toe really firmly into the floor, and then spread across the foot towards the little toe side. So as you do that, hopefully the instep lifts a little. Bring weight onto the outside edge of the foot, but keep that big toe stamping down firmly. Turn the right foot all the way out, just making sure that the heel is in line with that lifted instep of the back foot. Lift up into the chest, and then look at the foot. Spread the toe, stamp the neck of the big toe down onto the floor, and then lengthen out into the little toe side. Press those little toes into the floor so that you can activate the outer thighs. And then come down. So the action is to turn his front leg from the big toe side to the little toe side. But that often makes it difficult to press the big toe of that right foot down. So from the outer edge, the little toe side edge of the heel, go stretch horizontally from the outer edge of the heel across to the big toe of that front foot. And then turn the chest up to face the ceiling, and then reach up. Feel the feet in contact with the floor, like they're stuck to the floor. Stretching out the muscles of the feet. And then come back to the center. Release your hands, swap your feet around and turn the right toes in. And again, prepare that foot in the way that we did the other side. Stamp the neck of the big toe in, and then lengthen the little toe side away. Try and really activate that little toe. Easier said than done, isn't it? Turn the left leg and foot all the way out. And then spread the foot. Lengthen from the little toe side of the heel across the foot to the big toe of that front foot. Turn the leg, activate the legs, and then come over, feeling the feet. Stamp the little toes into the floor. So working from the feet like this can feel a little bit restrictive in the legs, but it's because we're concentrating. So that restriction in the legs is just because we are activating the feet. We need to learn how to activate the feet in order to activate the legs. And maybe you're activating your legs more profoundly than usual, which is why it feels different. Suck the energy from the feet into the hips, up into the spine, up into the heart area, into the arms, and into the neck, and into the head. Okay, coming back to the center, bring the feet parallel And then step the feet apart. Just relax the feet for a moment. Just come into Tadasana. Now, spreading the feet can give you a slightly emotional sensation across the shoulders. So just acknowledge that. Just breathe into it. Listen to the breath. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Okay, from there we're going to come down onto our knees, and if you're not doing dog down, do supta baddha konasana. So we're just going to stretch just be on the knees and stretch the top of the foot away from the knees. So just lengthen from the knees into the toes, pointing the toes away from you. Press the toes into the floor. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So lengthen the toes away from the knees. Spread the toe mounds, just stretching out the feet. Just stretching the tops of the shins. Press the shins firmly into the floor. Push your hands into the floor. So we're not going up into dog down quite yet, but we're just stretching out the tops of the feet. Just to release the tension of the feet. And then bring the toes, turn the toes under. And then come up into dog down. Stamp the neck of the big toe into the floor. Stretch the little toes away. Stamp the little toe side of the foot consciously into the floor so that you feel the outer thighs suck inwards. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Feet as wide apart as the mat, hands as wide apart as the mat. Just to give you space. Okay, come down onto your knees. Just be on all fours. So Andrew, you can do this now. Just be on all fours, and again, lengthen the toes away from the knees, and then press the tops of the feet into the floor. Press the shins into the floor, just to really relax that overstretching action of the feet. Lengthen the tops of the feet away from the knees. Press the shins into the floor, and then turn the tailbone up to the ceiling. Lengthen the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. Don't lose the toes. Don't lose the feet and the shins. So for the cow pose. And then tuck the tailbone in. Draw the chin towards the chest for the cat. Try not to lose the feet. Try not to lose the shins. And then come back to the centre. Have the big toes together, have the knees apart, sit back on your heels for a moment. Just rest in your feet, because we have worked those really hard and you need to give them a little rest. Just observe your energy. So all that action in the feet really does activate the legs with real determination, but also brings energy up into the chest. Feel the lightness in the shoulders and in the arms and in the chest. Come forwards, hinging at the hips, aiming to maintain the connection between the seat bones and the heels. Spread your hands out in front and then press the neck of the thumb into the floor. Lengthen the index finger to 12 o'clock right in front of you, and then spread the other fingers as far away from each other as they can. So spreading the palms like we've been spreading the feet. Stretching the thumbs towards each other as much as you can, and bring the head down. Maintain that determined spread of the palms. Stretching the thumbs towards each other like they're magnetic and they want to stretch towards each other with an invisible force. Lengthen consciously into the index finger. Stretching that to 12 o'clock and then spreading each individual finger away from the thumb, away from the heel of the hand, so that the palms really open up. And then we'll just release. Bring your arms to the sides of the body and let the body rest down into the floor in child's pose. If it becomes too heavy on your head, then consciously extend from the shoulders into the fingertips. Enjoying the quietness. Okay, bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then push yourself up into a seated position. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then come down into supta padangusthasana. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. And I want you to really stamp the big toes together. Stretch the inner knees around to the outer knees so that you lift the insteps, just like we do when we stand in tadasana, and we lift the inner knees up towards the groins. So in this action we turn the inner knees around to the outer knees to open up the insteps, just because the feet are in a different position. Stamp the big toes together. Turn the tailbone in gently so that the lumbar presses down into the floor. Extend your arms up to the ceiling, interlock the thumbs so that you can splay the hands apart. And then lengthen your arms along the floor. If there's stiffness in your shoulders, you can put your hands on a folded blanket or on some blocks. But stretch your arms away, spread the finger mounds. So it's amazing how many muscles you activate in your feet when you spread the toes effectively. It feels a little uncomfortable initially, but we are strengthening the feet And if our feet are strong, then our bodies are strong. Just swap the hook in of the thumbs and again splay the fingers out. And then gently release your arms, just rest your hands on your lower ribs, let the feet just relax into the floor a little, let the hips soften. Just use supta, baddha, konasana just to find your energy. Just let the body relax for a moment. Perhaps the soles of the feet begin to tingle with consciousness. So we concentrate on the feet sometimes, but that brings huge benefits into the rest of the body. So we strengthen the feet and we strengthen the body. Quite often when I get out of bed in the mornings, the toe mounds feel stiff, and for the first few steps it feels, kind of like they're kind of a bit stuck, but then they kind of ease up. And so sometimes that does different things to the body. When there's a problem with the feet or with the ankles, the body feels different. The body feels, dare I say it, older. I remember I've got such bad ankles, and I remember when I was in my 20s, I think, maybe in my early 30s, when my ankles would just twist without even putting any weight on them, and it just got to the stage where I was kind of hobbling down the hallway, holding onto each wall just to get myself down, and I felt like I was 100 years old, and I was like late 20s, early 30s. And so if there's a problem with your feet, it can really affect the way that you hold the body. And so actions that we've been doing this morning, help to really strengthen the feet by consciously stretching them. And that gives a different feeling in the body. Like I say, when you stretch those toe mounds, you get an almost emotional sensation across the backs of the shoulders. Okay, draw your knees together and then pull your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then roll over onto your side and then sit yourself up. Okay, we're going to do, so just come into seated baddha konasana. So we're going to have the feet as close to the body as you can, and then get the index finger and the middle finger and then wrap it underneath or in between the big toe and the index toe. Wrap the fingers around the bottom of the toe and then wrap the thumb around the top. So this is how you should hold your feet in padangusthasana poses. So hold on to the toes and then spread into the little toes. Spread the little toes. So you're kind of pulling the toes up towards the ceiling, up towards the chest, and then see if you can really spread out into the little toes. And then roll onto the front edge of the seat bones and lift up into the chest. So if you've got a bad back, you might just want to stay at this stage. So we're going to just keep hold of the big toes. Hold of the big toes. Lengthening the little toes, and then just lean back and just see if you can hover. Make sure you're not sitting by a wall. because if you roll back, you'll bang your head. So make sure you're not sitting close to a wall. Hold on to those big toes, pull the big toes towards you, roll onto the front edge of the seat bones as much as you can. Keep stretching into the little toes, just see if you can hover. Spread in the toe mounds. Okay, and then just gently release. So we can do ubhaya padangusthasana, which is where you balance. You might not want to do this, and you might just want to go to the, just go to that stage where you just sit and you balance. I quite often watch the telly like this on the floor, and it just keeps my attention because I get easily distracted when I'm watching something. So the first stage of ubhaya padangusthasana is just to find the balance at this stage, rolling onto the front edge of the seat bones so that you can lift up into the chest. And then you straighten the legs, keeping the back straight, and then you have the feet slightly apart, tadasanaise those legs, and then you balance. Now, not everyone is going to be able to do that, so if you can't, you can wrap a belt around the whole of the foot, and then just find that same action. It's not so big toe orientated, but that doesn't really matter. And then you just give yourself some belt with the toes around the feet, with a belt around the feet. So just try a couple of times, just see if you can really lift the chest. Find this balancing stage, and then the aim, if you just let yourself roll onto the sacrum. So as soon as you do that, you're likely to roll back like a weeble. So you've got to stay on the front edge of the tailbone, on the front edge of the seat bones. So at this stage, you just pull against the toes, push the feet away, and then roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. And then you try and stay there. There is where you balance. And then bring the knees in towards each other. Keep the back straight. And then see if you can straighten the legs. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. The feet aren't wide apart. The feet are just straight and hip width apart. Turn the fronts of the thighs in. Okay, and then gently release. So it's a good pose for balance, isn't it? I quite like that pose, ubhaya padangusthasana. So just come down onto your front and just rest your hands, and then so you create a little pillow for with your two hands, lengthen the elbows away, and then just rest your forehead down to the floor. So rather than shavasana, laying on your back, sometimes it's nice to lay on your front. So you're resting your forehead on the backs of your hands. So it's a little bit like the restorative surfboard pose that we do sometimes, isn't it? Just let the body relax, let the body release, soften the feet. Draw your attention to your feet, to the underside of the foot, and then relax the muscles and the ligaments and the bones of the underside of the foot. Push your out breath into the sole of the foot, just letting the sole of the foot spread, relax. Draw your attention to the top of the foot. And allow the top of the foot to relax completely, softening the muscles and the skin and the ligaments and the bones, relaxing into the bone marrow. Draw your attention into the shins and the thighs. And consciously relax the muscles, and the ligaments, and the bones, and the bone marrow. Just relaxing the legs into the floor. Draw your attention to the muscles across the back. Taking in the muscles of the side ribs and of the chest and the abdomen. And with an exhalation, relax the torso. Relax the shoulders, relax the arms, relax the skin of the face and the skull. Relaxing into the bones and into the bone marrow. And then when you're ready to disturb yourself, just lift your head, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, and then push yourself up. Just come up onto your seat bones, just sit back on your heels, come onto your seat bones, sit in cross legs. Just hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. Take a deep inhalation. And with an exhalation, turn to the right side. Come back to the centre. Hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. Take a deep inhalation. And then turn to the left. And then come back to the center. Just hold onto your knees. Bring your hands into Namastic. Press the palms firmly together. Lengthen the armpits away from the elbows. Allow your eyes to close. Just focus on filling the lungs and emptying them. Draw the breath down into the abdomen. And be conscious of the energy that you've released through your practice, from the feet to the face to the top of the head. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy. Draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees. Palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence, and of peacefulness that we can carry into our day. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open. And the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you really lifted your energy. Maybe your feet feel light. Maybe they feel broader. Maybe your energy feels different. So thank you very much for joining me.